Okay. First update is that of the blood rework. So we're glad to hear that everyone is enjoying the blood rework so far, and we can't wait for everyone to get their hands on the first blood bag, which is happening on May 15th. Jack's Teller, I am originally from Southeast Asia. I won't tell you which country though. Okay. So we'll be releasing an updated channel, which an updated staking FAQ alongside a new blood bag FAQ channel later this evening after the AMA. If you're still unsure of anything about the blood rework, feel free to ask a question in today's AMA, or hopefully it will be addressed. It'll be addressed in the FAQ later today. Sorry, I got a bit stuck from Freddie's insanely racist remark. I guess it's India. Okay, so just so you guys know, in case some of you may or may not know, we have also just sent the gas refunds to the first 720 people who have unstaked their VAMPs. So this was from when the blood rework went live until about 9 hours ago. So if you want to see whether you have got it back yet or not, just check your internal transactions on Etherscan to see if you've received it back or not. It's already gone through. It's already went through. So you should definitely be able to see it. If you have unstaked within the past few hours, your refund will come instead in the next 48 hours.
So the next thing is about the bat devouring. Unfortunately, it's still not available yet. We did hope to have it ready for Sunday. However, the way that the current graveyard contract is set up, this would mean that when a bat was devoured and went to the graveyard, there would be no way for it to ever be retrieved, so it would be stuck in the graveyard. And as a few people may have noticed in a few of the mediums and a few of our announcements that we've been teasing, that isn't exactly how we want to go about things. So Freddie's currently constructing a new contract, which will mean when a bat's devoured, it will go into an almost new graveyard, so it won't be retrievable by anyone, and it will be, sent to the graveyard when it's devoured. But this will give the ability for that bat to be resurrected at some point. We don't have too much details on that right now, but we know there's some great bats in the current graveyard, and there's bound to be even more bats once devoured. So we don't want those to necessarily be stuck forever. We do have plans for them to be resurrected somehow. So Freddie's just finishing that up now, so over the next day or two this will be released, and then vampiresses will be able to begin their blood generation. This is a good time to point out as well on it, I've seen a few people mentioning in chat about exactly how the snapshot works for the blood bag. For example, if someone was to purchase a vamp in the middle of the period, would they receive any blood in the next blood bag? So usually this wouldn't be the case, and you have to hold the vamps for the entire 2-week period to get the blood in the blood bag. So on a usual case, if you were to purchase a vamp during the period, or if you were to list it during the period, or transfer it to another wallet, you'd be getting 0 blood for that vamp in the next blood bag. But for this first blood bag, that's not going to be the case, because I know a lot of people have been unstaking and then moving them to their ledger, reuniting some bats and vamps together and moving them across wallets. So for the first blood bag, this is not going to be the case, and you're going to receive your entire blood yield. However, going forward, you would have to hold the NFTs for the entire 2-week period in order to get blood for them in the next blood bag.
Yes, that is very well said. So before I go on to the next one, someone asking why do you need to unstake? We have moved over to passive staking. It's a whole Medium article on that. You can read up on it if you want the full details, and you will get your gas refund anyway. Just keep your GUI to under 100, right, Rion?
Yeah, as long as it's under 100, it doesn't matter what the cost is or how many tokens there are. Just make sure the GUI is under 100.
Yeah. So if you feel like being generous, just put your GUI at 101. Okay. So for the coffins, unfortunately, also as expected, OpenSea were not very cooperative with trying to assist in ensuring the 1,200 coffins that are not displayed on OpenSea to make them available, right? Okay. So to combat this, Freddie has made them available to view under the My Collection page on the dashboard. However, for a select few, they were still refusing to reveal. So we saw a few of these concerns in chat as well before this Freddie gave a reply somewhere above. So this should now be fixed. So if you haven't seen which tier coffin you have revealed, check again under the My Collection page on the dashboard. I mean, for any reason anybody still cannot see them, we can work to release a full list of tiers shortly so people can refer to them that way. So that is the My Collection page on the dashboard, everyone. Please, thank you, thank you. The next one is on UT.
Yeah, hello everyone. So next point is going to be the arcade partnership. So we're super excited to announce the arcade partnership. If you saw earlier today in announcements, we actually put. So if you
I
go
think
to
you have gone underwater, T. We can't hear you.
you can't hear me.
Okay, now we can, yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I literally got a new mic and everything too. Cool. So the arcade partnership was something we're super excited to announce. Earlier today, we actually put the demo in announcements, so you should still be able to go there if there are any spots left, because it was limited to 100. So it's definitely something really cool to check out. So for our partnership, we're going to be integrating all the pixel collections. You know, the vampires, the vampiresses when they become available. And in addition to that, everything's going to be integrated into their metaverse. And also, all SVS holders are going to get access to all their future utilities and any game that the team is building. It's definitely something exciting because Arcade was actually the maker of the Apes versus Mutants game for Bored Ape Yacht Club earlier this year. So it's definitely has an experienced team and a lot of good people back in the project. So it's something amazing to give access to everyone.
So the next update is on the blood shop. Originally, the raffles were supposed to end within the next 24 hours, and that's how they usually would be. But we did get a few comments on the last AMA saying with the blood rework dropping the past Sunday, a lot of people were waiting to enter the raffles and purchase from the raffles for when the blood rework dropped, and we airdropped all of the blood across because this would have meant that people had to claim their blood before and spend the gas fee, which was almost unnecessary when the blood rework was only a few days away. So due to a few comments that we've received, we extended this week's blood raffles, the week 3 ones, by 72 hours. So that means they're going to be ending at the weekend, and then we're going to be releasing Bloodshot week 4. So they're just extended by 3 days, but nothing else is different. We've also been working on getting an extended view of prizes for the Blood shop week 4, so we've got some NFTs ready to go in as well. So essentially, if you haven't entered any of the Bloodshop week 3 raffles yet, be sure to do so before the weekend. The timers on the dash are now updated, so you'll be able to see exactly when they end, and then at the weekend we'll be releasing Bloodshot week 4 with an extended amount of prizes.
Awesome. So next point is going to be the marketing. So like we mentioned on last week's AMA, we did come to an agreement with our marketing firm DWeb3, and we did receive a short list of KOLs and potential influencers that we could work with. And from what we saw from the list was they weren't necessarily influencers that we wanted to really work with and would represent the brand in a good light. So we did kind of, have another meeting, and I guess we're re-strategizing with them, and they're going to be sending through another list of, people who really fit the description, along with more full-time ambassadors. That's an additional request that we added for them. So we should be hearing from them very soon. And yeah, that's an update for the KOL.
Hey, so I think now we have Thrall to come up and have a few words for us. Is that right, T?
Yep.
Hi, I do have a few words for everyone today. It's mostly about the updates we've done to the blood bank, the DAO itself. I know everyone doesn't really have time to be on Discord 24/7. Hi, Barton. But I just kind of wanted to run it over in the AMA so that anyone who didn't read it kind of gets all the same information. So I'm just going to briefly go over the changes made to the format, why they're being implemented, and kind of like how it will improve and streamline things ideally. But basically, when the DAO first started, it was mostly used as a suggestion box. And then with the introduction of the blood bank officially, as well as little old me, I'm sorry to say, we felt like it kind of needed to be updated to better serve the community as it grows and develops. So things were running pretty smoothly to begin with. We were reporting on every single proposal, regardless of its content, votes, or if it had reached quorum or not. And although this was initially done in order to try and, I guess, hear out every single idea and bring it to the community's attention, we also realized in those first few weeks that it kind of became a little unsustainable, a little distracting, and ultimately was just doing exactly what the Snapshot Proposals channel does, which is just report on everything. And so after speaking to the team, as well as some other notable DAO managers that were kind enough to share their experience with me, we decided that there would have to be more structure and consistency regarding which proposals we would report on. And that's why we implemented the kind of who, what, when, where, why, how model, which essentially for a proposal to now be reported on in the official blood bank channel by me in an announcement, it has to answer and consider these questions explicitly tailored to how we spend the funds from the DAO. And this will ideally shift the general attitude away from it being a suggestion box and towards more of a way for the community to help to decide how we use the resources and finances at our disposal. So just to be very clear, because it's really important to us, this doesn't change anything about who can or cannot submit proposals, and it doesn't actively shut down anyone from sharing their ideas, because that's the last thing we want for this to work. So I still read every proposal and write a report on it every week and forward it to the team for their consideration. And really, this who, what, when, where, why, how model is just a set of criteria that will kind of act autonomously as a very light filter to hopefully improve the quality and research people put into their proposals. This is still a DAO, obviously, and neither I or the team can really intervene and cancel or approve ideas based on our own subjective opinions. So if it fulfills the criteria that, again, I've already outlined very clearly in the announcement, if you want to refer to it, it will get reported on, regardless of what I have to think. So don't think that I'm just personally picking and choosing. And as an example, I think MGM or France this morning had one posted in Blood Bank discussion. So if you want to see what we're looking for, you can check that out. And if you have an idea that doesn't have all that necessary information in the announcements, you can consider putting it in community suggestions, which we also read front to back, and we always consider those. And some of the better ideas have been there, and I like looking through them myself. So again, one of our biggest priorities was making sure that the community was on board with this idea, and not to name any certain proposals, but judging from some recent ones about vetting ideas before they come to pass, it seems like everyone's on the same page. And also, we put a check mark and an X reaction on the announcement, and that was to see if people approved of it and liked the changes. And we've gotten overwhelming support in favor of it. But regardless, if anyone wants to discuss any of the changes made or don't agree with some, I'm always willing to listen. And this is kind of an ongoing process to improve the DAO as it grows. It's not mine, it's not the team's, it's owned and operated by the syndicate and the community members. So that's you guys. And this is all to help you make better use of it. And so some ideas that I've already been thinking about to make it better, I've been kind of toying with the idea of moving the voting to the Dash to increase voter turnout and ease of voting, as well as setting up dedicated forums on the Dash to help people communicate and discuss any blood bank proposals. Obviously, the dev team is busy, and I don't think that's the immediate priority, but it's just to show that we will continue to try and adapt and make this as perfect as possible for you guys to make use of it. So I know that was a lot, and you're probably tired of my nasally voice. I'm tired of my nasally voice, but I have good news for you. Only one proposal passed quorum, so I'm about to be finished with my report. But essentially, it suggests that we buy an alpha pass, such as the Champs Pass, and leak the information from it to our server. It also asks that we hire more people for our alpha team. And finally, it also wants us to change how the giveaway bot works and make it so that for every vampire you own, your chances increase. And this saw like a 98% vote in favor, but I'm pretty sure the first part about leaking info is illegal. And I am positive that this wouldn't reflect well on us if word got out. But the second and third part are actually something we're going to consider, and I'll bring it up with the team again because it passed vote. And ideally, this proposal would have had some cost estimates to help us make a more informed decision. But that's what the announcement was recently for, so people can start to implement these things. Other than that, there are 9 active proposals, ranging from creating a launch pad to buying land on the other side. So if you haven't found the time, go vote. It's probably in your best interest. And that's really it for me. So if anyone has questions, tag me in whatever chat you want, and we can talk about anything you want.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Thrall. I see your masters in literature has paid off. That was very well said, well spoken.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so for everyone here, so now on we're going to go into the Slido part of the AMA. But before we go into the Slido, I just wanted you guys to know, just thought like I just mentioned to you guys, right? That essentially we've been here right now for about 8 months. You know, we've been doing these AMAs for about 8 months. So if you think about it, right, as we go on longer and longer, there's going to be less and less hands up each week. So it's not that doable to keep them to an hour length each week, if it's possible. So essentially how it's going to work is same as always, no matter what. If there's no hands up or 1,000 hands up, we come up every week, we give our ideas every week, we give our updates, and we do answer Slido, and we just talk to whoever can whoever's ready to speak to us. So yeah, I just thought that in case you guys might feel some of the AMAs might be a little bit short. Okay, we can go into Slido now.
Okay, so the first question is the most upvoted one this week, and it's from KA, who says, can we get the Blood Rework site to be mobile friendly? Also, can I please get a Slido? Well, you can have another.
Slido. Okay, so the Blood Rework site, so everything will be mobile friendly, just you know, so you guys know. So the full Blood Rework site and everything to do with that will be mobile friendly. That's something that has been worked on right now. We're aiming to push it out ASAP. Cough, cough, ready, cough, cough. So yes, that's essentially it. So thank you for the update. Also for picking up to all the little memes and slangs that we have. Slido. Okay, so next question I have for Rion is loving the Blood Rework so far, but can't wait to create my families. When is it live?
Oh yeah, so this is similar to the question that 2D just answered, which in short the answer is very soon. Originally, we will say from our first proposal about 3 weeks ago when we first introduced the Blood Rework, the families were almost going to have a lot more of a centre focus, in which you would have to have had a family in order to receive both the rarity bonus and the perfect pair bonus. However, after a few community feedback and the proposal that went up, a lot of people were against the 14-day time-gated aspect of the blood bags. I know a lot of people, especially those who are engaged in this AMA now, are the people where the 14 days really wouldn't matter at all, because all it is one click of a button every 2 weeks. But then there are obviously a few holders as well who are wanting to receive their blood more passively, and they don't want to necessarily have to claim every 2 weeks. This is why we think we've struck quite a good balance in the end, where we have both the basic blood bag and the perfect pair blood bag, which are not time gated, so the blood from those will be able to be claimed any time, and that means that the people who don't want to claim every 14 days will still be receiving more blood than they ever would have otherwise. And then for the more engaged holders, the people who are likely to be in this call now, they'll be able to get their blood boost family blood bag once every 2 weeks, which might include a prize along with the additional blood. So the family aspect is slightly less focused than it originally was, just because you don't necessarily have to create an all rare family. I know a lot of people who have top 10% vamps, top 10% vampresses, and top 10% bats want to put them in a family so they were getting the increased yield, but that doesn't necessarily matter anymore because they're going to be getting their additional rarity bonus in their basic blood bag rather than in the blood boost blood bag, so it doesn't necessarily require a family to be getting the extra bonuses that you would. But having said this, we do have a lot planned for the families, where you'll be able to name your families. You'll be able to, we might increase into some of the lore, some of the families if people are creating all gold families or families with uniques in and things like that. We do want to bring this into a centre focus, so the families are still going to be a big aspect of the blood bags, but on a sort of yield basis, it isn't something that's totally necessary to create rare families to be getting more blood. You would still be getting the same blood otherwise. So the answer on this is the families are coming, they'll be out within the next few days, but obviously it doesn't particularly matter because the first blood bag is not for around 10 days still, so there'll still be plenty of time to create your families before the first blood bag drops. The next question is from M. Barton, who says, great job on the blood rework. How do you plan on bringing new volume to the project? We have the framework in place, we just need new eyes and money to invest.
Okay. Hello, Barton. How are you? So yes, Barton, thank you for the kind words. Essentially, yes. Blood Rework was something we worked on for quite a while. We're super happy with how it turned out. So how do you plan on bringing new volume to the project with the framework? We have the framework in place with the new eyes and money to invest. Correct. Okay. So essentially, similarly, pushing it back to the update that we just pushed about the marketing and the KOL. So that's one of the forefront ways that we want to push and get more eyes on us, right? Getting these influencers and KOLs on board. Essentially, what that we have requested for was to be able to reach out and get get kind of like big, large scale brand ambassadors to kind of stick with us and grow with us at SVS for the longer term, right? That's something that like we are pushing quite a lot, and that's something we want. On top of that, something that we are also actively doing, is trying to at least 1 tour spaces a week. Lair TV is the forefront of this, where we can put ourselves in front of new communities. Some that we haven't partnered with before to get more eyes on us, and as well as hosting the NFT NYC and real life events should be able to have an impact on us. Having more of a public presence, as founders in the Web3 space. And essentially, I think the NFT NYC stuff will be very good for us, having a booth, and then not only so much the booth, but the food truck and after party and stuff like that, to try and get more and more people engaged and involved as we go along with the traditional marketing. Okay, 1 second before I answer your questions, Rion. Some people are typing questions in the lair. For you guys who have questions in the lair, can you guys just hold it and put it after the Slido is done? Then maybe I can go through that at that time, because we're just going to go through the Slido ones first. So I'll check that back later, Katara. Don't stress, I did see your question. Okay, so next question I have for Rion is, will the coffin tiers effectively eliminate regular holders from access to the items in the blood shop that were once available to all of us? Question mark. Any way to level up? Question mark.
No, so there isn't a way to level up the coffins. The one that you were airdropped is the one that you'll get. It's almost like a souvenir at this point on the NFT side. I know not everyone can see the NFTs in OpenSea, which is not ideal, but as we say, it is more of a souvenir that the coffin doesn't actually matter to what extra yield you'll be receiving. On the side of the blood shop, essentially it's for 1 week only, the additional items in the blood shop. So you can think of it that week 4 will almost be an extended one, where there'll be the base blood shop week 4, which would be the normal items that you've been seeing for the last 3 weeks, including NFTs as well. So already it'll be an extended blood shop, but then there will also be some items that are only available to be purchased by the different tiered coffins. So this isn't trying to lock anybody out, or going forward making people with lower tiers be able to receive less items in the blood shop. This is almost like an additional bonus for 1 week. So the base blood shop will still be there, as it will be every week going forward, but there'll just be some additional items at different costs available for the 3 tiers. And then on the blood yield as well, we just wanted to put across as well, because a lot of people are saying, now that the snapshot's happened, why would I be purchasing a perfect pair? But even if you do purchase a perfect pair going forward, or if you move it across wallets, or if you have split one up in the past but end up getting it back, you will still be receiving the additional 7 blood per blood bag. So it is still definitely worth holding on to keep this blood, even if you weren't included in the snapshot, because you'll be receiving increased blood in this perfect pair blood bag. The coffins are almost, again, a bonus to that, where you'll be getting the 7 blood normally, but then the tier 1s will be getting an additional 5 blood, the tier 2s an additional 7 blood, and the tier 3s an additional 10 blood. So the people who don't have perfect pairs now obviously are not missing out. They can still get a perfect pair and receive the 7 blood. It's just for those who were lucky enough to be included in the sneaky snapshot, they'll be getting the additional yield as well. But just to clarify on the shop, it's not that anybody who doesn't have a coffin will be missing out. You'll still have the same blood shop week 4 as there would have been otherwise. It's just going to be that there are going to be a few items for each tier, almost as a bonus and a prize for being in the sneaky snapshot. The next question from Mr. Anonymous is, can we host AMAs on Twitter so that others can find us and join us, instead of limited access to the community within Discord?
1 second, guys. Just had to get my yawn out. Okay. Yes. Okay. So the question of can we host AMAs on Twitter so others can find us and join us? Rion, that's a violation. You're not boring me. It is actually 4:31 a.m. Unfortunately for you guys, or for me, you're never boring. Okay. So can we host AMAs on Twitter so others can find us and join us instead of limited access to the community? So this is something that I'm not sure how new some of you guys may be, but this is something that we actually tried out months ago. We tried hosting like 1 or 2 AMAs on Twitter. It actually wasn't that good because in the sense that you can't really receive questions. Like even here, I can read the chat. I can read what you guys are saying. So it's a little bit more interactive, right? And then it's also important to see the fact that we can easily pull you guys up here, and then like in the sense that if we have the AMA on Twitter, but I have the chat open, that is very doable and very easy for me, right? It's just on the sense that it might not be as practical for other people in that sense. So what we have done and adjusted is that we host Lair TV on Twitter Spaces all the time instead. So yes, Thrall, yes, oh nice, yes, oh nice. So essentially, yes, correct. So essentially, yes. So the AMAs stay on Discord where we can engage and interact with you guys on a more personal level. And then we do the All Air TV we do on Twitter instead. And that's always the spaces with other communities or other people of influence. So their community and their audience get exposed to us as well. Not just doing it on SVS Twitter instead. Ryan is correct. Okay, next question I have for Rion is, when a bat is devoured, is it gone forever? What is happening with them? I saw the teaser in the medium.
Yeah, so we answered this earlier, but I'll just go over it quickly again. That the Bat Devouring will be coming by the weekend, so the Vampresses are able to start earning their blood before the blood bag. Again, with this first blood bag, it doesn't matter how long you were holding the Vamp or the Vampress with a Bat Devoured before the 15th to be able to get the full blood yield. So I know a few people have been saying, if I buy a Vamp on the 7th, for example, am I still going to get all the blood or half the blood or no blood? So for this first period and for the first blood bag on the 15th, it doesn't actually matter how long you've been holding it or how long the bat's been devoured for, etc. So don't worry about it being done sooner so you get more blood. That's not going to be the case. You're going to be getting the full yield no matter what. But when the bat is devoured, it's not gone forever, and that's why the bats aren't out yet, because we want to make it so that, well, we're not going to give too many details yet, but it is going to be a fact that once the bat's been devoured, it isn't necessarily gone and unretrievable forever. There will be a mechanism on the being able to be blood used to resurrect bats, or maybe swap bats if you want one with specific traits. I know there are a few golds, a few rares, and there's even one unique bat in the graveyard, so we do want to bring in some cool ways that people will get access to some of these bats while still keeping the mechanism almost deflationary. We don't one of the main aspects of the Vampresses devouring bats is that the bat supply is going to decrease, so we obviously don't want all of the bats to come back into circulation, but at the same time we don't want them to be locked away forever. We do want people to be able to interact in some way in resurrecting the bats, so there will be more information to come on that once the Devouring is released.
Perfect, thank you, Rion. I think we'll do like 5-10 more minutes of Sleedo, and then we shall call it there. Maybe 5 minutes. I think we're on next question.
Oh, the next one is, where is Mig? What's the Gen 3 schedule? Do you guys think we are ready for Gen 3, or should we set targets for existing collections first?
No worries, Rion. Yes. So, okay. So question, where is Mig? What is Gen 3 schedule? Okay, so with Mig, Mig is around. He was up on AMA last week or the week before. Maybe you weren't here, but he joined in on the AMA. And despite that, we're going to be having a nice Lair TV episode with Mig soon, where we kind of just go into detail with stuff like that. About just think like keep up to date, push you guys up with what's coming and what's not coming, and essentially, so when do we think we're ready for Gen 3? So this is not something that we want to give out give out a date on at all, because right now we don't feel like it is. We don't think that's something that should be rushed right now. We have no intention of just pumping out random collections. So the whole point is that we try not to rush these things too much, right? Especially with new collections. And Gen 3 is not something that we want to push out too soon with the Blood Pack. So we're just going to keep working on growing the brand more and more, and trying to market things more and kind of get ourselves up in front of as many eyes as possible on a less large of a scale as possible, and then go on from there instead. And then as we get closer and get closer to finalizing these things, when it comes to more collections and Gen 3 and Blood Packs and forbid I say breeding, then we'll push out more details and dates and rough timelines on when we think that is going to be coming along, right? So it's just important to know that the Blood Pack will be coming, but it is not a rush process at all. So in the meantime, we have we have the pixels and the 3D models in the works first too. That's kind of taking precedence, and then we can go on from there. Okay. Next question I have for T. Can you provide an update on NFT NYC food truck? Curious, how is it going? What custom food menu are we offering, etc., etc.?
Yeah, absolutely. So, first and foremost, shout out Ed. I'm not sure if he's the one who asked this question, but Ed did give us the recommendation for this to who to reach out to. But essentially, it's a brand that does custom food trucks, where they find an already up and running food truck and they do a complete custom wrap. So we're gonna have the option to completely wrap the outside of the food truck and then also do custom menu options, custom menu names. We completely control, it's very customizable. Right now, we got our initial quote, but we're kind of, you know, figuring things out of how exactly we want to do things, to get our final quote before we proceed with them. But the process, it's very simple. They take care of everything, including the locations, the permits. So none of that is really on us. They really handle everything. But yeah, that's where we're at. We're still in the stage of finalizing details and getting quotes, but we're pretty close to sealing that. So it's definitely something exciting to look out for if you're attending NFT NYC.
Yes, perfect answer. Yeah, MGM. That's essentially what we plan on doing anyway, with the 3D models as well for like the pixel vampresses, right? Pintable with blood only, just like how we did the pixel vamps. Yeah. So that's just something that we are going to be aiming to do when the time comes. Okay, cool. So next question I have for Rion is, can you elaborate on how the snapshot for each blood bag works? If I list all, do I get 0 blood? What if I buy a new vamp within the period?
Oh yeah, there is another new question here I see from Jax Teller as well, saying, so my vamp was still listed after the latest rework announcement, however it hasn't been listed since then, will I still earn blood? This is a good question, and we're going to be updating the FAQ later. We're going to be bringing out a blood bag FAQ, because there are a few questions that like this which are very good, and quite a lot of people have been asking. So in a normal sense, you wouldn't receive any blood. The way that it's going to work going forward is you have to hold the vamps for the entire 2-week period to receive the blood bag at the end of the period. So going forward after the 15th, we're going to be taking a snapshot on the 15th when you're claiming these blood bags, and then whatever is in that snapshot, whatever vamps you hold, whatever bats have whatever vampresses have devoured bats, etc., that will be the blood yield that you're going to be receiving on June the 1st. However, for this first blood bag, because we did release the blood rework on the 1st, and I know a few people still had their vamps listed on the 1st before they seen the announcement. I know a lot of people have been unstaking because there was the staking limit before of 30 vamps per wallet, so I know a few of the large holders as well have been moving their assets about. They've been reuniting a lot of them together, transferring all of their NFTs to one ledger wallet. So for this first blood bag on the 15th, it's not going to matter if you were listed or if you've moved your assets around, you are going to get your full blood yield. That's why we've been saying as well, it doesn't really matter that the Devouring's not out yet, or the families, because you're still going to be able to create these and devour any bats that you want to before the 15th, and then you'll receive the full amount of blood for it on the 15th. But yeah, going forward, you will have to hold the vamps for the whole 2-week period to receive the blood at the end. So a few people have been asking this, and we'll make it known afterwards exactly how this is going to work going forward with some examples, because I know it's not quite straightforward at the beginning of how long, because I know a few people have been saying, if I buy a vampire on the 7th, do I at least get half of the blood on the next blood bag? So we don't want people to be disappointed going forward, purchasing additional NFTs within the period and then not receiving the blood for it. So we do want to make it clear that in a usual case, you would have to hold them for the entire 2 weeks, but for the first blood bag, this is not the case. The next question is, can you please take the time to answer questions properly today? Please no surface level answers. Let's get into the detail.
Okay, so I think the fact that it is now 42 minutes past the AMA has begun, every question has been answered in extreme detail. There's much detail that is possible to be answered, really. As Thrall is saying in the chat, how dare you surface? There's no surface level answers, really. We answer everything as much as we can, to as much detail that we can reveal, right? So if some of you want, if you want a bit more detail on specific questions and things like that you're not too happy about, stuff like that, the stage is always open till an hour past, and you're always welcome to raise your hands and then ask any questions you have from there. Okay, yes. So now we'll do one more question. I think Rion will read the question out, right? And then we'll go to the hands, and then we shall call it a day. Okay, I can read the question. Thrall, okay, so basically Katara wrote this in chat. Okay, so she dot pointed it, but as anyway, it's just for you guys to be briefed on the question. It's a question concerning snapshots. She said, can we change it that way that a proposal needs to have 1K4 votes? Now I often do not vote against, as I do not want to help proposals I do not like to reach the limit. Probably more people than me do not voice their against because of that. And please encourage vamps not to mix too many suggestions in one vote. Often there are 3 or so. I like 1 or 2, but do not like the third one, and I don't vote for it at all.
Yeah, so I can tackle this. So thanks for the question, Katara. This is kind of what I was getting at earlier when I said if you have any suggestions, just bring them to me, because we're doing this as a team and trying to evolve it as it goes along. So regarding the first one, you need 1K4 votes. That's actually a really interesting proposition, and something I'll probably deliberate with the team after this. Because what you're suggesting, I think I've also noticed happen, that people kind of commit a little arbitrage and refuse to vote in order to keep it under that 1,000 quorum level. So that's something that I'll bring up with the elders, and we're going to think about it to see if we can implement it. And then for the second one, that one, I don't know if I'm overstepping here and if I can say things definitively, but I think that's a great idea. I think that having kind of precision and focus in your proposals, so having basically, as you suggest, one idea that you flesh out really well is a lot easier to vote on, as opposed to having 3 different ideas, and as you say, one of them you might not agree with, so you avoid voting. So that might be something that I can consider putting into as a rule, or at least an encouragement to everybody, that if you do have a proposal, try and make it as focused and singular as you can, and not so expansive that potentially one of your ideas shovels out your other good ideas, if that makes any sense to anyone. So yeah, Katara, those are great points you raise, and I appreciate them.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Raw. I think now we can bring hands up, and then we can go on from there, right, Rion?
Yep, so I know Brock's got his hand up as well, so we'll take him first for his weekly update, and then we've got Nico as well, so we'll bring him up after Brock.
Okay,
Hello,
Hello, Brock.
Vance.
Been a while.
Hello,
I know. I'm doing well. I owe everybody an apology. I'm sorry I've missed the last AMAs. I have exciting news. I was recently hired as a full-time Web3 strategist, And so I've been working out my schedule, but I have put all of our AMAs in my company calendar and told everybody to don't bother me. These are important. So I am
Congrats
here.
before you begin. Congrats.
Thank you. I can say wholeheartedly that that Sneaky Vampire Syndicate played a huge role in the position and my kind of stepping stone into the Web3 space. So I love this team. I think everybody already knows that, but I will state it again. This is the hardest working team in the Web3 space. I will get in a fight over that statement because it is absolutely true. And you guys keep doing what you're doing because it's remarkable. The utility you continue to add. It is just amazing. But I will get into the numbers because that's my true passion is Sneaky Vampire Syndicate analytics. So as everybody knows that we do our community initiatives, and the whole point of our community initiatives is not only to help spread our Sneaky Vampire Syndicate love, but also to help onboard new members, spread awareness, and ultimately benefit all of our holders by bringing new people into the ecosystem. So we had a really amazing week last week from everybody that participated in our community initiatives. And remember, when you participate, we're also giving away a Ledger hardware wallet every single week to someone as a little added bonus because this team just loves to give and give and give. So our tag, our @SVS NFT tag, had a reach of over 1.1 million different accounts last week. That is more than double from the week prior. And actually, we haven't hit a number that high since back in very early March. So it's really exciting to see these numbers really start picking up and gaining speed. Our hashtag, our SVS NFT hashtag, had a reach of over 2.3 million accounts, which is actually the second highest we've had. The previous week, just last week, starting on 4/27, we had a reach over 2.7 million accounts. So the movement we're seeing is just amazing in both of those, our tag and our hashtag reach. And remember, reach is the amount of people that saw something with either our tag or hashtag in it pop up on their timeline who are not following us, right? So these are all new people that we are now raising awareness about our project to. Our Twitter followers since the beginning of last month, so we've picked up over 32,000 new followers since the beginning of April, which is absolutely huge for our Twitter followers. And I haven't really touched on this in a week, but I do keep track of it. We are now in our third week in a row of seeing our volume on OpenSea continue to go up. So these are all exciting numbers for me. I love being able to jump into these AMAs when we have such bullish news about where everything's going in this amazing project. And again, I just want to thank you all for keeping old Paul around. And I have been very good at making sure the coyotes do not get me in my garage. Hopefully we have some old school people in here who go back to the day of our inside joke about Paul and the coyotes. And I love you all. Scotty, below, all of my amazing community managers. I really appreciate everything that you all do and support me through these last couple of weeks. Crisis is amazing. He keeps jumping in there and doing our community initiatives when I might be a little busy that day. So thanks, team. I love you guys.
Thank you, Paul. Brock,
you,
first of all,
Paul.
just want to say congratulations on your new position. It's so wholesome, and it makes me really happy to hear that, just by you being around us from the beginning about 8-9 months ago, right? From you doing the art contest, some of these guys may not know, and winning the derivatives contest, and you have kind of like worked your way into the Web3 space, NFT scene, and then from there, you've kind of like carried yourself and got yourself into a nice, opportunistic position in life. And it is nice to hear that like we had a part to play in it as well, So I'm super happy to see you having success in life.
I appreciate that, and you had a very big part in that. It was I owe this team everything. I really do.
No worries, man. We'll
out
keep
to
on
Paul.
growing together. That's the way. Shout out. Big hearts for Paul in the chat.
I'm here forever. I'm dying with these vamps in my hardware wallet.
all day. Okay, so I think last one, Rion will just bring up
Yeah, we have
Nico
two
with the
hands,
6.
so hopefully we can get
Up
through
2
them.
hands.
First is Nico. Fire. Hello, Nico. How are you? Oh, I think your mic has been rugged.
Hello, Nico.
I just want to say I agree with everything Nico is saying.
Yeah, me too.
Yep, I do think so. Maybe we can bring the other hand up in the meantime, Rayon.
Yeah.
We'll give you like a minute or two, Nico, to grasp the mechanics of your microphone, and we'll go from there. Okay, hello, Lordion.
Hi guys, I hope you can hear me.
Hey, we can.
Yeah,
How are you?
hear you loud and clear.
Initially, just want to thank you for all the hard work. I think the blood rollout has been really impressive. It's awesome to see how you guys wove together all the elements of like SVS thus far. I do have a quick question, hoping to get a little bit of clarity around the Devouring.
Yeah,
I asked
sure.
this in
Right.
chat. Let me see if I could pull up the article. In the Medium article, it mentions that the vampiress will take on the blood generation of the bat. And I had a question around rarity. So if you had say top 1% vampiress and she devoured a top 1% bat, does that stack? Would she now be producing more blood than the table indicated?
Yeah, this is a good question, and unfortunately that's not going to be the case. The bonuses don't go across when devoured, so what I would recommend is that nobody devours the top 10% bat and rather keeps that one for the family, because when it's within the family, obviously it would be receiving the rarity bonus. Even by itself in the base blood bag, the bat and the vamp and the vampiress all receive their rarity bonuses, but once devoured, it's just more of a case of giving the vampiress access to her own 14 blood alongside the bat's 14 blood. So no, the rarity bonus unfortunately doesn't go across. It's a very good question. We should probably clarify that in the FAQ that's going out later today. So I have been recommending people in the chat, I know a few people have had a similar question, to not be devouring a top 10% bat, because obviously blood yield wise that's not going to be the most beneficial.
Makes sense. All right, thank you for answering that. Thanks for having me up, guys.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you so much, man.
Okay, let's
Okay,
try Nico again. I think he's still
Hello,
rugged.
Nico.
yes, we shall
Maybe you
give
want to answer
Nico.
your ask your question quickly in the layer chat maybe. We've still got 5 minutes, so hopefully we can answer it.
Yeah, I'll give you 60 seconds to type in, Nico. 1, 2, 3. I don't even see Nico typing at the bottom of our chat. 4, 5, 6, 7. I see Ed Wolf. Hijack. He's unmuting. Still no fire emojis at the bottom of my screen, guys.
Maybe we can have a few words from Freddy in the meantime.
Oh, I think that's a great idea. So can you give us kind of how you see the development side of the blood rework and the
Yeah, Freddy, what was the
you
biggest
know,
challenge you had to overcome with the blood rework?
it says getting out of bed.
Probably understanding everything Ryan and 2D has been putting together. Yeah,
All the abuse.
that is all.
Yeah, that is all. You guys don't know how hard it is to wake someone up at 10 p.m. Okay, so I don't see any sign of life from Nico. So I think that's it for this week, unless Nico does a last minute surprise. Oh, hi guys. So no, that was just me, guys. It was a Nico, unfortunately. Okay. So I think that's it for this week.
Nico,
Thank
if you
you,
want to put your
everyone.
question in afterwards, we'll answer it in the layer anyway, so we'll make sure you get your answer.
Yes. I think that can work as well. 2D and audiobook. Yeah, Freddie, these guys want some sort of 2D audiobook or something like that in the blood shop. Maybe we can make that happen next week. So do I get to choose what I say to you guys? That would be much more doable in my eyes.
No, they get to choose.
Oh, Thrall writes it and I read it. That's doable, actually.
To just read Red Wine Dinner Time from the lore competition.
Yeah, yes, I can do that. 2D navigation app. Wow. Amazing. Only a small price, full 2D audiobook for a small price of 10,000 blood. Okay, so I think that's it for this week's AMA. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. It's always fun. It's always fun, honestly. So always have fun talking to you guys each week in, week out. Looking forward to what's coming. Hope you guys look forward to your blood bags coming on May 15th. And on that note, bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.